Dred Scott was born into slavery in Southampton County, Virginia at about 1799. His original birth name was Sam, but he later changed it out of respect for his brother, Dred. Most of the reason Dred Scott fought for slavery was for himself and his family, but he still believed that slavery was wrong. He cared a lot about his family because he wanted his whole family and himself to have a better life and to be more than just slaves. He married Harriet Robinson, and he had 2 sons that died in infancy. He also had 2 daughters, Eliza Scott and Lizzie Scott Madison. After Dred made a refused offer to Mrs. Emerson, he went to a country court with 2 attorneys so he could finally gain his well-deserved freedom. In his first trial, his freedom had failed to be approved. However, the second trial that he went to was won in 1847. In 1857, only 10 years later, the court case was handed to the U.S. Supreme Court. They came to the conclusion that all blacks, free or still enslaved, could never be citizens. The majority of the Supreme Court ruled against Dred Scott, 7-2. Chief Justice Roger Taney said that as a non-citizen of the U.S., Dred didn't have the right to even try to sue. Along with the new law, the federal government couldn't ban slavery from the land it owned. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 was also declared unconstitutional. The Missouri Compromise forbids slavery in Louisiana's territory, north of the 36-degree longitude, 30-degree latitude line. Yet it allowed slavery south of that point. To keep a fair balance, if one slave state was added, then a free slave state must be added too. John Emerson's former wife later remarried to Calvin Chaffee, an abolitionist and 2-term congressman for Massachusetts. Calvin knew that slavery was wrong and therefore wanted to free Scott and his family. Nevertheless, it was a Missouri law that only a local from Missouri could free a slave from Missouri. So Peter Blow's son, Taylor Blow, who used to be Scott's childhood friend, signed the papers to free the longtime slaves on May 26, 1857. Scott became famous, and after he gained his freedom, he worked in the St. Louis Hotel as a porter. Dred didn't get to enjoy his freedom for long, however, because about 16 months after he was freed, he died of tuberculosis.